And that has made all the difference.
Another sign
Hello. Hey, hi, my fellow American citizens and our foreigners. Likewise, regardless of whether or not any of you wish to become naturalized American citizens. Take it away, little brother, the former ex-president of the USA. Do I look okay, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, you look quite fine. You know, sporting your one souvenir of a Rastafarian dreadlock. Though you look like you could use a haircut. No offense meant. Well, just a little. I mean, if that's the look you want to sport at the moment, you know, we're not going to deny you it, and we're not dissing you. Continue from where you had left off, if you please. Okay, can I get the Here Comes the Chief song, you know, going once again on 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Bum, 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 bum. Hello, hey, hi, my fellow Americans and foreigners, being of whom wish to possibly become naturalized American citizens, and whatsoever races likewise, and whatever walks of life, factions of society, or lifestyle preferences as well. Well, hopefully, all the same, being of which will be closer to normal, if not normal altogether. But then, who can say what is normal? Nobody in this world is really normal. If you look at it from another point of view, and not that I mean to, disregard the possible potential of our own species as we have it, humans, and to reflect upon the negative nature of ourselves compared onto the positive side when we take on a conscious much greater than our own, and not that I mean to contradict something of which I could possibly say in regard to ourselves. But then, when we have differences of opinions with a fellow human being, then hopefully, like say, more of us would express ourselves, though very few compared to the majority. Like say, or I would say, of a God conscious being of any of us humans, our own species, who have become believers in God, as in Christians, a.k.a. Protestants. So I say to you all, with this fireside chat, so to speak, and then some, of my social media family, being of whom, although regardless of how you be whatever races, but then not necessarily being of whatever walks of life, factions of society, or lifestyle preferences. I mean, no disrespect is meant toward those persons, being of whom will be considered as characters by those being of the like-minded kind, as in believers in God, Christians, a.k.a. Protestants. But I was just saying, for the sake of argument, and as a matter of figure of speech, and then some, and as I was saying, and I'm stating for that for the record. Then, because after all, if we must go there, and like saying, speaking upon a certain community, being of the LGBTers, God made Adam and Eve to get together, not Adam and Steve, or Adeline and Stephanie, or Amy and Stella, and not that I should be confused with one of those card-carrying members to the Westboro Baptist Church with this rather contradictory, blasphemous social media website address email of www.godhatesfags.com. Then, because the truth of the matter, or the fact that we believe it to be, being us believers in God among ourselves, Christians, a.k.a. Protestants, whereas we believe that, God, there's a few of us that could possibly actually lay claim to being real or true believers in God, as in Christians, a.k.a. Protestants, compared on to the false-brethen, who have from there have joined our rank and file by fraudulent means, whereas they don't qualify to be considered as among us. Whereas we, being of the few, don't believe that God hates fags. To compliment the Westboro Baptist Church, this rather bogus email of their email address of www.godhatesfags.com for their own social media website of a religious nature. Otherwise, God, if he hated anybody, our God, as we know him to be, the God of our own understanding of our Lord and Savior Christ, the Messiah deliverer, then he could not possibly give his life upon the cross of Calvary to become the one and only perfect blood sacrifice to save the lost souls of humankind, being of whatsoever races and whatever walks of life, fashions of society, or lifestyle preferences, being of the old and young alike, of both the two sexual genders, representing the global community within this post-911 era of our new millennium, of this apocalyptic day and age, and where the doomsday clock is now at a few minutes to midnight, compared on to how formerly, previously, or prior to then, it was at a quarter to midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. Yes, being that because if God hated anybody, then he would no longer be God. He would be the devil. And the devil is the one that is about hate. I mean, that would be contrary to God's character, and etc. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, getting back to some such other, first of all, as I think of it with that in my mind's intention, to try to backtrack here and do disregard the hand gesture. I'm just trying to look more proper. I don't look like something such as anybody, but like but undesirable or ragamuffin. But anyway, so I say to you all, as I think of it with that in my mind's intention, yes, I say to you all, my social media family, not counting the internet trolls. No, they're not to be included, as they be of negative characters, being of whom, that is manipulators of chaos, orchestrators and initiators, as well as some such, and then manipulators, is what I meant to say. But then, so I say to you all, being on my social media family, as I think of it with that in my mind's intentions, to try to backtrack here. The reason on purpose of being, and also I can go on with the following, from where and when I had last left off, to try to finish up as incomplete a former, previous, or prior line of thought in the same sense of the word, so far as concerning the basic intro as an introduction is concerned. Before I were to get to speaking upon some such of a subject matter of an issue at hand, pardon the pun, none was intended for that last mention, and no disrespect is meant to be directed at any persons of past, present, or future sexual assault victims or rape victims, and as the majority of them will be of women and children of whatsoever races and of whatever walks of life, fashions of society, or lifestyle preferences. And I had said that last, as I had done or did, or whatever I said, I speak correct, proper standing English grammar of American dialect, been of some or such qualities and quantities or not. But then, nevertheless, as I think of it with that in my mind's intention, to try to backtrack here with reason or purpose then, and also I can go on with the following to continue from where and when I last left off to finish up as incomplete a former, previous, or prior line of thought in that same word, or as I try to do so now of my mind's intentions. So I say to you all, being of my social media family, being of whom are, of the many different races, but then not necessarily being of whatsoever walks of life, fashion of society, or lifestyle preferences, and being of the old and young alike, of both two sexual genders, being of males and females representing the global community within this post-911 era of our new millennium, apocalyptic day and age, where the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight compared on to how formerly previously or prior to then it was at a quarter to midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. But then,
Wow, yeah.
how are you all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay, if not better yet to be said, to be feeling all right. Or not best of all to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. You and yours, your family and friends, and hopefully me and mine likewise as well, all the same. Well, so I say, regardless of whether or not that my person is speaking correct, proper standard English grammar of American dialect or some or such qualities and quantities or not, or be I speaking the King's English or street slang for that matter. And hopefully with that much less usages of expletive or profanity, much rather than instead of with that much more, in other words, cuss words, to simply say. And therefore, then likewise, let me say, or as well, all the same, and hopefully that much less like someone or such one being of whom is supposed to be a believing God as a Christian, a.k.a. Protestant. No, don't even go there, don't even try it. If anything, now I speak like a believer in God as I am a believer now compared to how formerly I was an unbeliever before I professed faith in God to become or be a believer now, as I have been for quite a while, but rather I was like saying, and hopefully I would not speak like so otherwise as some or such a believer in God as a Christian, a.k.a. Protestant, being of whom could possibly play the part of the devil's advocate, and as the lesser two evil, being a prodigal son, being of that sheep that is strayed away from the 99, compared to how the majority of something, compared on to how, is what I mean to say, sorry about that. I kind of jumped the gun as I was about to speak upon some and such as I was about to do so, or am doing so now, compared to how the worst or the worstest of two evils is what I meant to say, are the likes of, the worst or the worstest of unbelievers and unbelievers, being the deceivers who pretend to have become and pretend to be believers in God, as in Christians, a.k.a. Protestants. But then, nevertheless, they would likewise, therefore, then be considered as being among themselves the worst or the worstest of closet devil worshippers, being of whom make up the majority of churchgoers or whatsoever religious denominations, of members and visitors alike, from the pews to the pulpit, and as they are the likes of false-brethen, of the supposed or so-called holier-than-thous, modern-day religious church hypocrites, the likes of, for the post-911 era, Pharisees and Sadducees for this day and age, as we have it, of the 21st century, who can compare unto those being of their predecessors in ancient times. And as these holier-than-thous, of wolves in sheep's clothing, of snakes in the grass, of the likes of false prophets and antichrist, attempt to go about making more than quite a few or many more drink their own versions of the Jonestown-Koolaid-mix-punch. Be they of the religious conservative movement or of the religious revolutionary movement, in one regard and another, or of this sect or that sect, or the different religious cliques to be possibly considered, then of the same question in other previous prior mentioned. But then, anyway, though, as I was saying, and regardless of whatever I could speak upon, or that of some or such given moment in time, be it one subject matter of an issue at hand, or a given argument to be debated with the many different views and opinions thereof to be associated with some or such of pros and cons, of conversations, of dialogue, a topic of discussion, be it a controversy or not, and be it some or such of a plague upon any given society or not, that has yet to be resolved, if it has not been resolved already. But then don't kill the messenger. I'm just here to deliver. And hopefully with that much less usages of expletive profanity, or with that much less use of cuss words, and therefore hopefully that much less likely to be going about expressing myself as a lesser two evils being a prodigal son. You know. So I wish to inform you all persons, or so I say again, and I'll state for that being on the record. You know. But then now that I've gotten preliminaries out the way, being the basic introduction, and regardless of how I may have repeated some words, you know, previously or prior to then, for me to speak upon a given subject matter, regardless of whether I were to speak upon one or a couple, few or four more for that matter, you know. But then some things are worth repeating. Other than that, let me get to discussing something of a line of thought in the same sense of word, like say, for example. Okay. I was watching our most recent news broadcast segment, and whereas our own mayor of a city within the Midwest of the USA was like implying how she wishes to cuss the president, Mr. Moneybags, president of DC or president of the USA out, where she was like saying, if I, so I paraphrase it, not quote exactly as she was saying, if I had words to describe how I feel about you right about now, then it would be with words like, whereas the first one would begin with the word F and the second one would end with the, there's no right way I'm going to say what she was like saying, where the first word whereas the first word would begin with the letter F, and the second word would end with the letter U. No. That will never do. Lori, Lightfoot, don't go there. Don't even try it. Don't even think it. If you have any animosities or hatred and or jealousy for the present presidency or president of the USA, then you're just as wrong as you assume him to be, regardless of whether or not he is. You're doing nothing more than adding fuel to the fire, and you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. I mean, of all people, person, you should know that. You know, if anybody, as you are one of those bull daggers, lesbians or dykes, so why are you acting like a headhunter? You know, you should know that. You know, is there anybody upstairs in your noggin? What's the matter? Is it that time of month? Huh? You should know that. Then to go there, you know. All right. I mean, just as you wouldn't want anybody to go about, you know, complimenting that of, you know, some of such homo bashing, being of the likes of the extreme homophobes that had trashed that cocksucker or homo faggot by the name of Mr. Matthew Shepard. And little or no disrespect is meant to be directed at the deceased. No, I'm just keeping it real, cause I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell like it is, 100%. Ain't no shucking and jabbing. I ain't gotta hide my feelings. You know, I'm against homosexuals. You know, I'm a homophobic person, but at the same time, I'm not extremely homophobic. Like the extreme homophobe, brainwashed, brain dead, brainless male idiots, ignorant imbeciles or ignoramuses who had beat to a bloody pulp, beat the damn hell out of the late Mr. Matthew Shepard. You know, if I be a homophobe, it would not be a homophobe that is hooked up with the West Bell Baptist Church with its bogus, blasphemous email address of www.godhatesfags.com. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like some of the things they air, but I don't like all of them. I'm not in total agreement with the likes of them, you know, then because that religious email address there stands out as contradictory or blasphemous. So don't anybody get to attempting to assume that I'm an extreme homophobe, being that because I'm not, you know, because I don't agree with the West Bell Baptist Church religious email address of www.godhatesfags.com. I mean, because if you had been listening to what I was saying earlier, I was saying, so I paraphrase, not quote exactly. God doesn't or don't hate fags or faggots. He just hates their rather blasphemous, unnatural, alternative lifestyle preference. Okay. But then getting back to you, mayor of a major metropolitan U.S. or American city, you are wrong. You are out of order. You know, you look less mayoral by what you had said. Just as you think that the president of the USA looks less presidential, you look less mayoral. It just goes to show what you had said. You could have kept that to yourself. It shows that you have some hidden animosity or hatred or jealousy for our present president of the USA. And you're not going to win over any of the opposition if you spawn forth so much hate in your own rights, so much hate regardless of whether or not any of it is substantiated or warranted. You're not going to win. You're not going to win over any of the opposition, any enemies of the LGBT community like that. You are out of order, Lori Lightfoot. You know, what you need to do is get back on TV and apologize to the president of the USA for having said that. You need to not only apologize to the president of the USA for having said that, but you also need to apologize to the general public, the American general public, or the people at large for having said that. You are out of order, Larry Lightfoot. See? You are out of order, you know, because certain homophobes will really take what you said out of context the wrong way, you know, okay? Whereas I myself say you have some nerve than others, much worse homophobes will really let you have it so far word-wise and worldwide in their tweets, you know, not only nationwide but worldwide, because you are out of order, Lori Lightfoot. You know, you are out of order. You're supposed to represent all Americans yourself, you know, you hear? But if you're doing a total, how can a pot talk about the kettle? The man said he didn't understand the ramifications of his words. So why not leave it at that, you know? Regardless of whether or not he himself is telling the truth or the fact of the matter. I mean, after all, he did go about, you know, speaking against the racist redneck police officers or cops of Minneapolis, Minnesota, that had killed that black male or black brother. Whereas, if anything, you should be complimenting him for having said that. You just looked at what he said otherwise. You didn't look at some or such other that he said. See, you looked at one part of his tweet, but you did not look at the other. You know that what I mean. So you looked at one tweet, but you didn't look at the other tweet. You know, you could have said something that was halfway in agreement with him, and at the same time not be so obvious. I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out what you was like saying when you were like, in more words or less, saying the words. So I paraphrase not quote exactly. The words I have for the president of the USA, you know, whereas one word, the first word begins with the letter F, and the second word ends with the letter U. You are out of order, Lori Lightfoot. You know, I'm just telling like it is. You are out of order. Whereas you could have possibly said something along this line of thought in a sense of words. You know, though what the president of the USA has said in one of his tweets that could, you know, seem or more than seem like he's welcoming some kind of a you know, all out fist fight or all out battle or war between the different factions of the haves and the have-nots. But then at the same time, what he said in regard to how he disapproved of the dirty cops or racist rednecks that had killed just another black male. I must compliment him on that, though. I must agree with what he said, in that sense of the word. For that line of thought, if not, agree what he said with his other tweet. That's what you should have said, You are out of order, Lori Lightfoot. I'm just telling like it is. You're just as much out of order as this fool white boy, Jimmy Kimmel, Funny thing is, he mentioned all the nasty things that our president of the USA, being of a furor for all races of people's persons or a fellow for all races of people's persons. He mentioned any and everything that President Donald Trump could have said otherwise that would be like leaning in the direction that would be considered as negative, but he didn't mention not one thing that President Donald Trump has said that was positive, like how he sympathized with the surviving family members of the deceased of a black male who had been killed by racist redneck dirty cops. This dickhead prick didn't mention he didn't mention a thing about what President Donald Trump has said. This dickhead prick. If you want to get to dissing somebody, Lori Lightfoot, this MF, this effing idiot, this him, Jimmy, talk show host wannabe. This his hypocritical ass, Don't you be just as hypocritical as him. If you're gonna say something nasty about President Donald Trump, you're gonna say something bad about him, then you must say something good about him as well. If he has done something good or said something good, you must give equal weight to that argument. Otherwise, Lori Lightfoot, I'm just telling you like you full of shit then. You're just as full of shit as this hypocritical bastard, this hypocritical S.o.b. Excuse my language, pardon my French. Let me rephrase that. I don't have to go there so far as to employ the uses of expletives or profanity or those alternative cuss words. I think you get the general idea of what I'm trying to say. Let me rephrase that. You're just as full of effing BS as this dickhead prick. Here he go again, dissing Donald Trump. The funny thing is, he didn't mention how Donald Trump had expressed his sympathy in another tweet for the surviving members or relatives of the deceased, because he's a hypocritical dickhead. He's a hypocrite. He's fake news, and he himself is also a damn dickhead prick troublemaker. He's adding fuel to the fire, just like you would be, Lori Lightfoot. You hear what I'm saying? Just like you. I'm talking about you, Lori Lightfoot. You're wrong. I don't give a what anybody else may say, but you are wrong for what you said about Donald Trump. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out when you had gone about, so I paraphrase, not quite exactly saying the words that I have for the present president of the USA, for President Mr. Moneybag, President Donald Trump. It goes along this line of thought in that same word like this here. The first word begins with the letter F, and the second word ends with the letter U. You're wrong, Lori. You are wrong, and you need to apologize to the president of the USA. And likewise, you need to apologize to the general public, the people at large. Just like this dickhead needs to apologize to the president of the USA, Jimmy talk show host wannabe Kimmel, for how he is just always dissing President Donald Trump, much rather than instead, sometimes congratulate him for expressing his sympathy for the surviving relatives of the deceased male person of a black brother who was killed by a racist, redneck, cowardly, faggoty, bitch-ass son of a bitch, dirty cop white boy. And don't even go there. Don't even try. Don't even think. When I said faggoty, it wasn't meant to sound like I'm dissing, the LGBT community in a way that is to be considered as extreme homophobia. You hear what I'm saying? No, it's not meant like that. If anything, it is meant from this point of view. You know, any male who is going all out of one's way to misrepresent true or real manhood, you hear, may as well be a cocksuckling, ball-licking faggot, you know, just like the dirty cop that had taken the life of that black brother, that black male individual person. You hear? So you are wrong, Lori. You're wrong. You're wrong. You need to apologize to the president of the USA. You know, because it's too hot. Excuse my language, pardon my French. But you know how summers can get to become so hot and winters can get to become so cold? It's too hot for that shit for you to be adding fuel to the fire in your own right. You're supposed to be a symbol of hope for all races of people's persons or whatsoever walks of life, factions of society, or lifestyle preferences. I mean, just imagine, what do you think children going to say if they were to watch that broadcast of yours? You cussing out the president of the USA. You might well just said fuck you on live TV, on live television. You might well just have said fuck you, President Donald Trump. You know, you're wrong. I mean, how you setting a good example for the little ones coming up, the little children of whatsoever races, you know, whatever walks of life, you know. You hear what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Whereas, you know, a 5-year-old can understand what you were saying. Said, Mayor Lori Lightfoot said, fuck President Donald Trump. You full of shit then, if you're going about some or such of that nature to express your discontent or disagreement with President Donald Trump, then you would be no better than what you assume him to be, some kind of a monster. You hear what I'm saying? Just like the monster up under your bed. You need God. You need God. You need God, you bull-dagger bitch. You need God in your life. How'd you like me to say that? Then I'd be wrong, wouldn't I? Speaking like the lesser two evils, being a prodigal son. Just like the monster up under your bed. You get no points from me. You score no points from there, from coming from me, Roy Lightfoot. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know. I mean, man, though you a puss-eating mayor of the city of Chirac, a Chi-town, but you know, I can't do nothing about it. I just gotta tolerate you, you know. You know, I mean, it's not like I wasn't meaning to diss you until I heard what you said against President Donald Trump. You know, I wasn't meaning to go there. For a while, I was ignoring you, you know, and just watching you at a distance, closely, see what you're gonna do for the city of Chicago. You know, I'm like thinking, regardless of you being a puss-eating bull-dagger, puss-eating dyke, or lesbian, I like saying, hopefully you won't try to you know, like use your platform to you know, score points or to give card-carrying members to the LGBT community more rights and privileges over other factions of society, you know. But you just told on your fucking self. You just told on your damn, let me rephrase, I ain't got to go there without a cussing slam, but I don't feel too Christian at the moment, especially about what I heard, especially when I heard most recently about what you said against President Donald Trump. I mean, don't get me wrong, I ain't in total agreement with him either. But you know, I like what he said against those lousy, racist, redneck, dirty cops that killed that black male. And you should be congratulating him for having said what he did. You know, you wanna dwell on the negative thing he said in another tweet, but you don't want to mention that tweet. You know, you full of F and BS. Let me put it like that. You full of F and BS, Lori Lightfoot. I don't give a what anybody else say, black or white. You full of F and BS. You know. You know, you should have jumped on the bandwagon and say, well, whatever he said, maybe he meant it, maybe not in the other tweet, maybe said something where he wasn't really thinking, but at the same time, he was speaking against loot. Remember David said, anybody that loots, they should be shot. So I paraphrase not quote exact. And they should, they should. If they're gonna be like stealing from stores and trashing businesses and so forth, effing up their own neighborhood communities, cause that their family members, especially young siblings or relatives and elderly relatives, is going to need some prescription meds from any places, businesses, or pharmacies that they destroyed. I mean, if they're going to inconvenience others from getting their prescription meds and over-the-counter drugs, then they should be shot. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. They ain't honoring that. They ain't honoring that deceased brother's legacy. Trying to put forth a video speaking against violence. If they tearing up their own damn neighborhoods and endangering their own lives, they ain't making no citizens arrest of the dirty cops that took the life of that black brother. So they full of shit the damn selves then if they tearing up their own damn neighborhoods. You hear what I'm saying? They tearing up their own damn neighborhoods, hood communities, that's a whack move. Just as whack as you talking about fuck you Donald Trump. Now let me rephrase it, talking about F you Donald Trump. You're wrong, Lori Lightfoot. You is wrong. Apologize to President Donald Trump for what you said. You'd be surprised how he appreciate that more than how you gone about it otherwise, And you'd be surprised how you score some points with the general public and people at large if you do just that. Apologize to him and say, I'm sorry, I was speaking out of context, you all. Regardless of whatever could be going through the mind of our present president of the USA, but I didn't have to stoop to that level of ignorance, insanity, impoliteness, or in other words, stupidity, sickness, and rudeness. And I must admit, he did tweet something that was worthwhile considering on a positive note as he spoke against the monsters of racist, redneck, dirty cops that had taken the life of another black male. So I must give him credit where it's due so far as that is concerned, although I don't agree with that other tweet that he had tweeted that was rather surprising, and not to mention, it was just so like him when he's not using his head. But for that other tweet, I must give him congrats. I must give him his props where it is due. I must give him credit for that. At least he was trying. See, you didn't look at it that way though. Like the weather temps is talking to you. You didn't look at it that way. You just flat out disregard that other nice tweet, that nice good tweet of his, and you more focus on the bad tweet. Supposedly it was kind of bad, but it wasn't all that bad, I mean, he was telling the truth. People that loot do get shot, You know what I'm saying? You're wrong, Lori. You're wrong, Lori Lightfoot. You're wrong. You, Y-O-U, you're wrong. Apologize to President Donald Trump. You hear? Oh, look at here, Sean Penn. How you doing, Sean Penn? Sean Penn, pleased to meet you. I like what you're doing. I like what you're doing there, white boy. Trying to, that is trying to level that upward curve of the pandemic within our own cities. I like what you're doing. You get congrats, you get props from me, fellow American. But you get Jimmy Kimmel, you don't get squat, man. If anything, I'll be like, Jimmy Kimmel, you can get this, No, let me phrase that. I'll be like, you can get this here, but him, he get this, the other white boy. Yeah, I had to email this cocksucker and let him know just how I feel about his idiotic behavior or ill-mannered sarcasm against our present president of the USA. Because he's a dickhead. He's a freaking dickhead, man. I'm just telling like it is. And you're acting like one too, Lori Lightfoot. I was surprised. No, you didn't. You didn't go there. I said, oh, that's where it's gonna be. I said, well, let me go about circulating something on social media in defense of the president of the USA. Seeing how you want to be so damn hypocritical. You forgot to mention his other tweet. If you're gonna mention something bad about him, then mention something good about him as well. I mean, just as he may have done or said something bad, you must also mention something that he had done or said that was good. Otherwise, you're just a hypocritical bitch. You're a hypocritical hoe or a hypocritical whore. Like this hypocritical dickhead prick. I used to like this. I used to like this MF. Before all I see that he ever does is diss President Donald Trump. You know, he always focusing on the bad things that President Donald Trump supposedly does and says, but he never focused on the good things that President Donald Trump do or say. So therefore, he's a hypocritical dickhead. He's full of effing BS. You know, and you will be too if you don't apologize for what you said. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, you hear? I mean, all that time you've been a mayor of the city of Chicago, the first lesbian mayor of the city of Chicago, I didn't open up my mouth until then. When I see how hypocritical your ass is. You're wrong. You're wrong. Bitch, apologize, ho. You hypocritical bitch, you hypocritical ho. Apologize. Because you score no points with me. From there, if you're gonna mention the bad things about Donald Trump, then mention the good things about him. Because he ain't all that bad. He done and said some good things as well as he done and said supposed some such bad things. You gotta admit, okay? That's the fact of the matter. You hear what I'm saying? That's pretty much all I gotta say, y'all. For years, you know. I'm gonna wrap this here up because I'm feeling like pretty much in a funk behind what Lori Lightfoot said. Oh yeah, and by the way, Slow Joe, man, you might well call it quits, man. You might want your ass in the White House, Mr. Touchy Feely. You know, touching little boys like a gay pedophile Catholic priest wannabe. You might want your damn ass in the White House. You know, get the out of here. You ain't getting that White House. Man, if anything, may President Donald Trump win the White House again by a political landslide. You ain't getting squat in your dreams, man. Slow Joe. You can't even remember. You practically, if not possibly, can't even remember your damn name, man. I'll be damned if you become commander-in-chief. I'll be like saying to everybody, well, get out the gas mask. Slow Joe is now the commander-in-chief. No telling how soon or how much sooner World War III will jump off. You know what I'm saying? Slow Joe, Mr. former ex-VP of the USA, Vice President, Slow Joe Biden. You ain't getting that White House, man. You might well just call it quits, throw in the towel. You ain't getting squat, man. Nobody wants you in the White House with your damn, what you call brainwash, brain dead, brainless ass. Nobody wants you in the White House, man. Well, obviously you don't know me, man. I seen you on some of the commercial breaks. You be forgetting things, man. No offense meant to be directed at the late Senator John McCain, or what's the name of that other politician that was campaigning to win a political office, you know. He couldn't even remember something himself. He was practically sound like Vinnie Barbarino. Who, what, when, where, why. I want you in the White House. Suppose you have to give the order to set off the nuclear warheads against a hostile country, a nation against the USA. And then you panic, you forget everything, and then have us get hit by the first strike because you were slow and using your head and trying to figure out what is the better or the best alternative to protect this supposed so-called democratic republic democracy of the USA. I want your big retarded ass in the White House. Big slow Joe retarded ass. No offense is meant to direct at the much more familiar mentally challenged. I want you in the White House, man. You think you get in that White House? Think again in your dreams, man. But I go to a toy store and find a little toy, a plastic toy White House and say, here's your White House. Be satisfied with that, you know. But then you ain't get the White House otherwise. You know what I'm saying? You're a fool, man.
Only pay for what you need.
You know, everybody, I just like to conclude some of the matter by saying this here. You know, if you haven't gotten Christ as your own personal Lord and Savior, then I hope that you would think to do so now. By recognizing and realizing what he himself had done, upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of some such Roman soldiers up on the orders of their religious superiors, being of Pharisees and Sadducees, but then nevertheless, whereas he had given his life upon the cross of Calvary, to become that perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice, for you as well as for me. So if any of us being of whatsoever race and whatever walks of life, fashion, society, lifestyle preferences, being of the old, young, alike of both two sexual genders, of males and females representing the global community within this post-911 era of a new millennium apocalyptic day and age where the doomsday clock is now at a few minutes to midnight compared to how formerly prior to then was at a quarter midnight for the right biblically prophetic time. Word to profess some of such faith in him, from there we become or be blessed in one regard or another, in more ways than one. First and foremost, with this salvation being in which is the only means by which we can or could possibly hope to get into the kingdom of heaven to be considered that as citizens thereof. And then second of all, we will be blessed with his deliverance. But first you have got to get the most important blessing being of the salvation. Otherwise you got nothing coming. And when you were to cross on over as and make that transition for the great beyond the hereafter, the afterlife, you will wake up with your eyes looking at the devil and his demons in the lake of fire, damn hell coming at you. Then where they will be biting and clawing on you, where you will be damned for all eternity there with the rest of the unsaved, unbelievers and nonbelievers, damned for all eternity. Compared to how across the great divide that separates heaven from hell, we being the believers in God of Christians, a.k.a. Protestant among ourselves, will be beyond the pearly gates that is much better than a woman's pussy. You know, but then if you're a male, if you be a male that become a believing God, or a male that is believing God as a Christian, aka Protestant, he would even so bless you with a woman in some such a given moment in time that could become or be much better than any skeezers or skanks, regardless of whether or not you familiar with the likes otherwise, escort service women or prostitutes. You know what I'm saying? Then a lot of women, female college and university students are turning tricks, giving heads, setting out the fur ball to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's not gay, to try to make up for the lack of funds to support their education, to earn a degree, a certificate, a diploma, you know, and some of them be pole vaulting, etc. as well. But then getting back to some of such others though, and as I wrap things up, you know, whereas we, being among ourselves believers in God, will be across that great divide, among other like-minded, you know, the great divide that separates heaven from hell, will be across that great divide, you know, among other like-minded believers in God, as in Christian, a.k.a. Protestants, and in presence, likewise with God and his angels, whereas his blood sacrifice will serve as an insurance policy for our immortal human souls for the hereafter, you know, of our Lord and Savior Christ, the Messiah, deliverer, you know, if and when we profess faith in him while we're still here upon the planet Earth. You know, there are really no unbelievers and non-believers in damn hell, because once they go to hell, they become believers, but it's too late, man, because they should have become believers in God before they went to hell. Y'all take care and be safe, be blessed, not stressed, peace and love, joy and happiness, you know, become blessed, not stressed if you're not already, and I'll holler at you all later. Until then, peace. We out. Bye-bye.